This is the Patriots Drive Podcast.
We are all Patriots.
Where we discuss, analyze, and answer questions to all things happening in the NFL and with our New England Patriots. Now, here's your host, Cole Kelly.
Let's go!
Welcome into another edition of the Patriots Drive Podcast. Patriots take on the Pittsburgh Steelers in week 2. Steelers had a nail-biter against the Bengals last week in overtime. No kicker wanted to make a field goal. They just kept going back and forth, missing field goals, and finally the Steelers pulled out the win, but it came at a cost. TJ Watt he's been placed on the IR, and he'll be out for probably 5 to 8 weeks, somewhere in that range. So he will not be playing this game against the Patriots. That's a huge win for the Patriots, tough loss for the Steelers. It's going to be a good one. This is going to be probably an ugly game. It's probably going to be similar to the Rams-Patriots Super Bowl that was in 2018. Probably going to be low scoring. Two teams that have good defenses. They usually rely on those, and then the offenses are kind of question marks right now, and we'll see what we get from them. But it should be a fun one. Hopefully the Patriots get the first win of the season, but I'm here with my co-host, Chase Campbell. How's it going, Chase?
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting game this week with injuries to Najee Harris. We'll get into the Patriots injury report and the Steelers injury report, but a lot of question marks on both sides of the ball for both teams. Obviously, TJ Watt's out, and then this is really the first game in a long time that Big Ben or Tom Brady haven't been on the field for either of these teams. So it's a new look. It's a new era for both of these historic franchises. And, for New England, you're hoping that you can bounce back from a game that your offense did some good things but couldn't capitalize a lot. And really only put up 7 points and a little disappointing. So look for New England to take on a defense that's super. They're good. They're underrated, in my opinion. They're good. They took the ball away 5 times from Joe Burrow and the Bengals last week. No one predicted them to be in the game, and they don't just play them tough. They go in and win that game. So it'll be a good game this week in Pittsburgh, and I'm excited to watch it.
Yeah, I agree. I think Pittsburgh's an underrated team this year. Their defense is always good. That's what always keeps them above 500. I know that record that Mike Tomlin had where it was so many years in a row at 500 or above. So they're a great defense. Even without TJ Watt, their defensive line is really good. Cam Hayward's a beast. They always also have Minka in the back. He's a stud. He played really well last week. So they have a good defensive line that's going to apply a lot of pressure. And on the interior, Cam Hayward was almost unblockable last week against the Bengals. So it's going to be a tough challenge for David Andrews, Mike Onwenu, Cole Strange, and those guys. And it's certainly going to test our offensive line and the communication and protection that we have this week for Mac. And it's all the more important with Mac dealing with an injury and also an illness. And we want to keep him upright, keep him healthy. We saw what happened with Joe Burrow his rookie year when he had a bad offensive line. He got demolished, and it can really affect people's career and take them out for a while. He was out for the season. That was a big injury. So we don't want to see Mac going through anything like that, especially back. You get nervous about stuff like that. It can affect your long-term health, and we don't want to see anything like that. So got to keep Mac upright. The Steelers defense is legit. Even without TJ Watt, it's going to be a tough challenge for this offense.
Yeah, and you got Minka, like you mentioned. They got a lot of dudes on that side of the ball, and there's been a lot of question marks with the Patriots offensive line, not only in the run game, but last week in the passing game. Mac was getting pressure on him and didn't have a lot of time to throw. And we saw that early in the season last year, and it became such a strong suit for the Patriots on that offensive line once Trent Brown got healthy after week 9. But it was very scary last week, and now he's dealing with a back injury. Every hit that you're going to have and that Patriots fans are going to see, they're going to be thinking in the back of their mind like, oh, crap, hopefully this doesn't hurt him and he's out for an extended period of time, because it would be a huge loss for the Patriots if they were to lose Mac Jones early in the season. It would almost, in my opinion, put him out of contention super fast, and that's not what you want to see. So you got to keep Mac upright. You got to keep him healthy, and just hope that the offense comes to play. I hope that we see Kendrick Bourne take more snaps. I hope that we get to see a little bit more Ramondre Stevenson. Not that I don't want to see Damian Harris, but I think both of them didn't get that many touches, in my opinion. I want to see the run game get going. And then get the tight ends involved. Hunter Henry only had 2 catches. Jonnu Smith had 3, but when he had the ball in his hands, he was good. So I want to see a little different game plan this week. I want to see him kind of attack the defense and, not be as conservative, because I just didn't see many opportunities for explosive plays last week. And I think that's what this offense needs to at least try is to push the ball down the field.
Yeah, I agree. And the running back situation is going to be interesting with the news of Ty Montgomery going on IR. I don't know how long term that injury is. I don't know if you've seen anything. I haven't seen any update on if if he re-aggravated the injury that he had before, or I have not seen anything on Montgomery. So that was kind of odd. I didn't notice anything during the game that kept him out. I thought he played the whole game. So somebody's gonna have to step up. Either JJ Taylor's gonna get called up from the practice squad, Pierre Strong, maybe he has more of a role and gets involved early as a rookie. Ramondre is definitely going to have a big role along with Damian Harris. I think they're going to split the majority of the load, obviously. But it's going to be interesting who they're going to call up, who they're going to trust to be in this offense, and especially the third down role. I'm assuming will be Ramondre, just because I don't think they're going to trust a rookie with third down protection and blitz pickup and stuff like that, especially with the offensive line and protection already struggling. So it's going to be a good, tough football game. Both offenses, I think, are going to have their ups and downs, but for the most part, probably struggle. And that's where our defense has to come in and step up and take over a little bit and help us win a football game.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is how well the Steelers defense played last week. They still gave up 299 passing yards, and they gave up 133 rushing yards against Bengals team who we all know can throw the ball, and their running game has been a little bit scary the last couple of years, and it seems to open up now that they have Jamar Chase and the receivers to spread the field. But I think if they're giving up 133 yards, especially with TJ Watt, and now they're going to be without him, I think the Patriots can take advantage of that. I think they can get a little bit more knockback off the line of scrimmage, hopefully get that run game going, because I think that's what opens up the field for Mac Jones. And it was interesting. I didn't know this until I saw it, but he only attempted 2 or 3 play action passes, I believe, in the game. And that was the bread and butter last year. And that was what the bread and butter was for Tom Brady, too. This Patriots offense has always been a play action heavy team. And so you get that run game going and you get Damian Harris and Ramondre Stevenson moving the chains and staying ahead of the sticks on first and second down. It's going to make it a lot easier for this passing game. And then I think we will see more shots downfield, more opportunities to have explosive plays. So I'm excited to see that. I hope that New England's able to come in and, move the line of scrimmage. The big thing here is winning on first and second down. Like they did not do enough of that last week. There was too many. Maybe they'd get into 2nd and 7s and then they'd lose four yards and they'd be back in 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 11. So that's exactly what my key to the game is. If we were to say a key to the game, that and winning the turnover margin, 2 things they didn't do last week too much, but they got to stay ahead of the sticks on first down and make it easier for the offense and, open up the playbook.
Yeah, I mean, having a solid run game and then using play action opens up everything for the offense and for the passing game in general. It really just opens up the field and makes the defense commit to either the run game or the pass game. And you got guys in conflict, not knowing if they can push the line of scrimmage or if they have to sit back and play the pass. So it's definitely going to be interesting. It's going to be fun to see what this Patriots offense does to attack this Steelers defense. They have a lot of strengths. Their defensive line, like we said, without TJ Watt, it's still really good. So I'm hoping we can run the ball as successfully as it seemed like the Bengals did. They also had an extra quarter to do it, but I think that's going to be a factor as well. Like Cam Hayward was banged up a little bit. They played a long game, and that was in week 1 against the Bengals. So maybe we'll see fatigue set in a little earlier for the Steelers. Hopefully the Patriots can take advantage of that going up to Pittsburgh. This is where the defense is going to have to step up, though, switching over to that side of the ball. Carlos says, hey, guys, I think this game will depend on the defense and their ability to take advantage of the Steelers' O-line. That's where the Steelers' weakness is here, is that offensive line. And they got Najee Harris. He's banged up too. But that's going to be interesting to see if this defensive line can take advantage of a poor offensive line. We saw a lot of good things about this defensive line in training camp for the Patriots. Was that the struggles of our offensive line, or is our defensive line improved this year? And we'll see what Judon, and we'll see if Anthony Jennings dresses this game. But Barmore up the middle, these guys got to take over and really create havoc in the backfield, make Mitch Trubisky uncomfortable, and stop the run game and shut down Najee Harris, because he's really one of their most explosive weapons on the field.
Yeah, it comes from all positions. Usually you see a tackle struggle more. Last week, it was all even. Each guy allowed 1 pressure, which is not too much. It's nothing to write home about, but that's only in 18 pass settings or pass dropping snaps. So, if Trubisky has to drop back 30, 40 times, which I don't know if they will ever let him do that or make him do that with Najee Harris and just with the state of their offensive line. But I think that you're seeing Matt Judon, and if Amfrey Jennings is available, he has a lot of hype around him. Hopefully Uche can get, some pressure on some of these worse offensive linemen. Barmore, I think, is going to continue to eat and stuff. So, and Dietrich Wise last week, he was impressive too. So
He was really good.
I think that you got enough guys on the offensive line that when you're playing, or on the defensive line, when you're playing an offensive line that's known to be pretty bad, and the reputation around them is that they will give up a good, healthy number of pressures or sacks, you got to take advantage of that. We got to have New England getting in, sacking, or, putting pressure on Trubisky 4 or 5 times throughout the game. And hopefully that leads up to interceptions. And then, like Branton says, hopefully that we're not dropping any of these picks. I think that Trubisky is a quarterback that's going to throw some up to New England. There's going to be some times where he looks good, and there's going to be some times where he's probably going to gift New England a couple passes. And New England's got to take advantage of it. They can't drop two drop one like they did last week and then allow Tyreek Hill to go up and snatch another one. So take advantage of these opportunities that I believe Trubisky's going to give the defense to take the ball away and give it to our offense.
Yeah, like you mentioned earlier, the turnover, we can't lose 3-0 the turnover battle. That's going to be a huge part of this game. It's a huge part of any game. Winning the turnover battle gives you such a better chance of winning the football game. Bill Belichick doesn't harp on it for no reason. It's huge. It really is a big factor. So that's going to be big. I know Jack Jones has had multiple opportunities in preseason, and then he had one where he kind of got mossed by Tyreek Hill a little bit. He's had his opportunities. Miles Bryant kind of slapped away basically what would have been an easy pick, basically a fair catch punt for Devin McCourty. So this defense, I know they have it in them. We've seen them be a turnover heavy defense, but that's usually with a guy like JC Jackson or Gilmore back there in the secondary. But the more this defensive line can do to create pressure and rush Trubisky into making decisions quicker, the better off this secondary is going to be. It's just going to help them out. And this Pittsburgh offense has some good weapons between Deontay Johnson and Chase Claypool. They have a ton of talent. So I think, like you said, this defensive line taking advantage of the Steelers' offensive line is going to be one of the huge keys to the game.
Yeah, and that's really, I think it's the key on both sides to most games. Like, if you can get pressure with 4 guys, we saw it last year, and I mentioned this before with the Bills and the Chiefs. If you can get pressure on those teams and any team with 4 guys and drop 7 guys, play 2-man, play some sort of, where you have 5 guys underneath, enough guys over the top, it's hard in the NFL. But a lot of teams can't get pressure with just 4 guys. And so that makes it hard. So if New England can continue to get pressure with 4 guys, that's going to be huge. If they can, stop the Steelers from getting pressure with 4 and make them having to bring extra guys, I believe in Mac's ability to check at the line of scrimmage, to get the ball out of his hands fast, to either a running back, a tight end, Jacoby Myers, one of those guys. I think it's going to help without having probably the best pass rusher in the league, at least coming off the edge. You talk about Aaron Donald on the interior, but coming off the edge, like, this would be a game where New England would demand having to either chip TJ Watt, and it would slow the relay or the release of a tight end or a running back into the pass route, or you have to double team him with the tackle and probably someone else. So it takes a lot of stress off the Patriots game plan, in my opinion, not having TJ Watt there. And I think that it will help offensively. And then on the flip side, defensively, hopefully we get the pressure. We get more pressures than they're getting.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. TJ Watt is an absolute stud. Between him and Nick Bosa, there's some very talented players. And even if you double team them or chip them, that doesn't guarantee anything. He is an absolute monster. He missed like 5 games last year, and he still had 20 sacks. It was absurd. He is very fun to watch. And if you could take one defensive player from any team, I might take him as far as adding to the Patriots. That would be so exciting to watch. I know we have Judon, but we could use a lockdown corner more right now than a stud defensive end, but he's fun to watch. So him not being there is great for the Patriots. It does stink though, just seeing a player of that caliber being injured, and it feels like he has bad luck every year with this, where if he's healthy for a full season, I feel like he's going to break the sack record, and he just hasn't been healthy the past couple of years to do that. So Patriots got lucky here. They got a couple lucky games last year where the other team had some injuries. The Titans game, basically their entire team was injured. And they got a win there. So it's going to be a good game, though. It's going to be a good game of 2 good defenses and 2 offenses that are question marks. And we're just going to have to wait and see what happens. But Branton here says, I know I'm thinking ahead, but Taekwon will torch the Bills because they won't have any film of him. That would be good.
Hopefully.
I'm very excited for Taekwon to be added to this offense. I know it is thinking ahead a little bit, but I'm very excited to see what that element of speed and this rookie, hopefully he can contribute sooner rather than later, because I think we're definitely going to need it this year.
Yes. So, Carlos asks, or he says, the Steelers traded for Malik Reed this year, so it won't be like they have a no-name scrub replacing Watt's side of the D-line. Just something to keep in mind. Yeah, they did trade for him, but the problem, he only played in one game last year, and sorry, not last year. Sorry, he only had 5 sacks last year, and it's not like I'm saying Malik Reed's a bad player, because 5 sacks that's an average year, but we were talking about replacing 18 sacks, like. They might still have in a game plan to chip Malik Reed, but it's not going to be every play like they probably would at least be considering or thinking about doing with TJ Watt. The difference between TJ Watt and Malik Reed is crazy how an offensive coordinator and an offensive line coach and honestly, Bill Belichick will see that a guy of TJ Watt's caliber can literally wreck the game on his own. That's how good and how impactful of a player he is. So to have him out, even though they trade for Malik Reed and bring him in, and he's a good, solid backup, and he'd be a really good starter on a lot of teams, it's just not, you can't replace what TJ Watt does and the type of schemes you have to make around him. So that will be something to key into, though. I mean, he's still capable of, he can definitely get the better of either Isaiah Wynn or Trent Brown if Trent Brown continues to be lazy like he has been the last week. And, we saw early in the season last year before he got hurt. So we'll see how that goes. He could, cause a tear, and knock on wood, not, because that would be the last thing I'd want to see from our offensive line is you have one of the best pass rushers in the league out and you still give up 4 or 5 sacks for Mac Jones. So that's not what I want to see.
Yeah, that would be tough. And like you said, TJ Watt's a different level of player, but it isn't a scrub. So it's still somebody you'll have to pay attention to a little bit. But
Yep.
Mark says, excuse me, do you honestly think we'll win more than 6 games this year? I would say, ask me again Sunday night, and I'll give you a more solid answer on that.
Yeah, well, me and Cole both had them at 9-8. We had this as a win. And I think
the first game is a loss.
Yeah, I mean, we both had them coming in 0-1 into this game. And spoiler if you haven't seen it, we both had them 1-3 too. We both had them losing the next 2 games after winning this one. So I still think that there's a run in this Patriots team. Bill Belichick always this team seems to figure out how to play after September for some reason. And it's frustrating because you're getting behind the 8 ball already when you start off 1-3, 2-2, 0-4 possibly. And especially when you're playing an AFC East opponent game 1, like we're already behind the 8 ball in the division and in the standings and everything. So that's so frustrating as a Patriots fan, but we always see that in September. It's an extended preseason for the Patriots. Last year it was, then they turned it on. And then, hopefully after the bye week, they can hold it together. So I would say 6 wins is the floor for this team. I don't know any way that the Patriots don't get less than 6 wins. If you're telling me what's the worst I could see them doing, I would say 6 wins. That would be my floor for me.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, and hopefully we don't have to actually see something that bad. But Light Shadow says, hi guys, just logged on to the live stream, was checking on the KC Chargers Thursday night show, 10-zip Chargers. If the Pats can't win, at least Kansas City losing puts a smile on my face. That is true. That is very true. That is something that absolutely puts a smile on my face, especially in the past few years, is seeing Kansas City lose. So Chargers look good so far. That defense is looking legit so far, and the offense, obviously, we know what they can do. So 2
former Patriot defenders, Van Noy and JC, for the Chargers. So it'll be fun to watch.
In the beginning of the, like right before kickoff, the sideline reporter was talking about their biggest defensive addition, Khalil Mack. When J.C. Jackson gets added to your defense and he's not the biggest addition, that's how you know. I mean,
maybe if you're talking biggest like reputation or name, you could say Khalil Mack because of what he was, but no way that it's not right now in his prime. J.C.
better
Jackson,
player,
yeah.
So I agree with you there. But I was going to say one of the biggest things back to the Patriots that I think people aren't talking about enough is just the fact that Brian Flores is a part of the staff. Like, we've seen what he does to this Patriots team whenever he faces them. We've seen the havoc he caused in Miami, but Miami always gives the Patriots trouble, so maybe it's a Miami thing. But Belichick, for his former assistants, just B-Flow being on the other side is a factor that's making me hesitate with my pick that you'll see quite soon. But I'm going to make it anyways, and it's just something to keep an eye on. Just one of the factors here. I still wish we would have signed him. I thought he would have been a great addition to this team and somebody that maybe could replace Bill in the next 5 years if he ends up leaving and retiring. So B-Flow is one of the best coaches we've had, and I'm a big fan of his.
Would you rather have Brian Flores calling the offense or Joe Judge and Matt Patricia?
Offense?
Yeah.
Brian Flores. I don't care.
I
just think Brian Flores is a better coach. He's more likable. I think he knows more about the game. Like, I don't know. This isn't hate on Matt Patricia, but I don't know. I think Matt Patricia thinks that it's all his show and the whole thing in Detroit, and he's telling reporters to sit up straight and this, and it's just, I don't know. He just kind of rubs me the wrong way. The defense got extraordinarily better when he left and Brian Flores replaced him. That was that year, that 2018, when we became one of the more dominant defenses in the NFL. And I just think everywhere Patricia goes, he brings problems, and I'm just not a fan. I'm really not a fan. So I would trust Brian Flores any day, any type of football coaching. I don't care what it is. I wish he was a part of the staff, and I wish he was going to be a part of it long term because I'm a big fan of his.
Yeah, I would probably have to agree with you on that one. But Branton asked, which games you guys attending this year? If I am going to go to one, it's going to be the one in Vegas. That's the closest to my house, and with my football schedule, that would be the one that I would go to. I know, Cole, you have one on the schedule.
I'm definitely going to the Colts one, Pat's Colts at Gillette. And then there's a possibility of going to the Pats Lions game, which will be week 5. First game wearing those red throwbacks. That is going to be absolutely awesome. So not positive about that one. That one's kind of up in the air, but it's a possibility. So that'd be really fun.
Yeah, the Colts game will be fun for sure. And then the Lions one, seeing them in the red uniforms, that would be my first game at Gillette Stadium. I bought a red Tom Brady jersey, so I love the red jerseys, but we only get to see him twice this year. So
yeah, which is I wish we were gonna wear more twice out of 17 games. Like, oh
yeah,
but whatever.
Yes. Light shadows right here. He's worried about Mac missing practice. The report was he was not feeling well. We'll kind of get into the injury report now. Missed practice with the illness Mac Jones did, but I'm sure it's his back injury that is bothering him. Worried about his protection. Pretty much, we know it's not COVID. They ruled that one out. So if it's some sort of illness, it's a stomach flu, something like that. I wouldn't be surprised. He might be feeling under the weather. I don't know if I want to agree that it's all because of his back injury, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're giving him a little bit of a rest day, which I don't know if I agree with because he's still so young. Like, he still has so much to learn. I agree with veteran rest days, and it's sometimes necessary. But if it means Mac Jones is definitely going to play on Sunday, I'm all for it. I just am a little worried about, one, chemistry with the offensive line, chemistry with the receivers, and stuff like that, like getting him ready to play this defense that just had 5 takeaways against the Bengals.
Yeah, I agree. I don't know. Maybe I'm not. Maybe I'm gullible, but I feel like I believe them about the illness. He looked good when he practiced. It's weird though with a back injury. You can feel all right and be moving around good, and then you can retweak it very easily. So that's my concern. But I feel like they would have put back, but maybe not. Maybe they're being deceitful. So
yeah.
But yeah, like Branton says here, people can be sick. It happens all the time. It's getting towards flu season. Stuff happens. So especially when you're traveling a lot and you're in a high stress environment, practicing a lot, doing a lot of different things, seeing a lot of different people, whatever it is. So I don't know. I believe it. I'm a little concerned, but we'll see what happens tomorrow. They still got one more day. I know Fridays are big, and then Saturday walkthrough and travel. Or Saturday probably is just travel, maybe not a walkthrough because they're on the road. But so we'll see what happens tomorrow. At the moment, I'm not concerned, but if he's not there tomorrow, I'm going to start to be worried about it, just because is the illness, is it back, and is he going to be ready and prepared enough? I trust Mac to be prepared mentally, but it also helps going through the reps and doing things in practice, especially with a guy like KB, who you have no game experience with really this year, except for 2 plays. We'll see what ends up happening with that.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you this in the post-game show, but I didn't get to it. Branton says, let's worry more about the play calling now. It's only week 1, so I don't know if we can truly overreact, but what were your thoughts on the play calling there? I would say the only real complaint I had, and I've said this before and expressed, is I just didn't feel like there was enough opportunities for explosive plays. There wasn't enough shots down the field. There really wasn't many other things I can complain with. Now, come back in 4 weeks and I'll tell you if that's still the case. But what was your opinion on the play calling? Obviously, it's not what we would like to see it at, but were there many things that stood out to you with it that was different from last year?
So I heard people talking about, I think they asked Mac about how he felt about the play calling communication. Was it good? Was there any problems, whatever? And everybody seemed to think it went smoothly. But I remember at the beginning of the game, I noticed that almost every play, the play clock was getting down to 1 before the ball was getting snapped. And Mac was kind of scrambling around, making adjustments, doing this and that. I don't know if that has anything to do with the translation of the play calling and what, I don't know, but I did notice that. And then I didn't watch the All 22 yet. I haven't looked at it, but Dan Orlovsky was talking about it, and I trust his opinion a good amount. He seems to really know what he's talking about, and he was talking about how vanilla the play calling was, and how they called the same 3 or 4 plays multiple different times, 4 or 5 different times throughout the game, and it's just there wasn't much variation in the. He said the design of the plays and the patterns that they were using didn't make sense, and wasn't creating space for one another. They were actually clogging up the passing lanes, and it wasn't. So I don't know. I just, we all thought it was going to be a disaster with Patricia calling plays or Joe Judge or whatever it is. And I hope it's improved this week, and I hope we see a better overall product from the offense, but I'm definitely concerned. I don't know. It doesn't really make any sense. Belichick is, I don't know what he's doing. I don't. I'm not a hate on Belichick. I love Bill, but some of the decisions he makes just really make you scratch your head. And he got away with it when Brady was here, but ever since Brady's been gone, we haven't been able to have the same luxury of getting away with stupid decisions and doing crazy shit like having Matt Patricia call plays. Like who's ever thought that would be a good idea?
Yeah, I saw this complaint a lot in the post game show too. That
that was
Patricia's
odd.
game plan was to attack their best corner in Howard, look at him to attack Minka. I did think they threw it at Howard an odd amount of times. Like it was a little odd that they were attacking him as good of a corner as he was. Now, I've never been the type.
What was their one explosive play of the day? Their longest pass.
You have to remind. Oh, the Kendrick Bourne one.
Yep. And do you remember who that was on? I think
no, I don't. It wasn't on how.
No, it wasn't. I think it was maybe Nick Needham.
Yeah,
that sound right? It was whoever their backup corner was replacing Xavier Howard.
Yeah.
As soon as they targeted him, first play, Kendrick Bourne, 40-something yards. Like, that's what you need to do. You need to attack their weakness. And that's what Belichick and McDaniels, and that's what they do all the time. Like, I don't know why you're going at their number one corner, their lockdown corner, when you don't have a number one receiver who can dominate a corner like that. It's just Devontae Parker. Okay, there was zero separation there. You throw it up. I don't mind throwing it up like that, like I talked about in the post game. But overall, attacking their number one corner doesn't seem like a great idea when you have other weaknesses on their defense that you can attack.
Yeah, and I think that it was odd how much they attacked him, but I don't think that you can completely avoid their corner. Now,
No.
I'm not mad at them for going at him a couple times, but what I think frustrates me is that they kept going at him thinking that something was going to change. Now, if you hit your first couple passes on him, yeah, go ahead, keep throwing it to him. Maybe if you're in zone coverage or if you know they're going to be in zone, throw it his way, make him tackle one-on-one. You know, I mean, Jalen Ramsey's a great corner, and look at what happened. He got torched. Like, the last 4 games now, maybe he's fallen off a little bit and he's not as good of a corner as a lot of people think he is anymore, but people have gone after him and they've been able to expose him in certain ways. So I'm not mad that New England went after Xavier Howard. I would say that where I'm upset is how many times they did it. And I think that that's where I agree with you, is like go after their weaknesses and then try to go after Xavier Howard, catch him off guard, see what you can get out off of him. But you're not going to win a game going after a top 10 corner in the league consistently, drive after drive after drive after drive, and just saying, oh, it's going to eventually work. Like, yeah, maybe it works one time, but now you just targeted his way 10 times and you only had one completion. That's 10% completion percentage. That's not going to win you a game. So that's where I'd say I was a little concerned about it. I'm not mad at it. I think that it shows a lot to Mac's character and how much the offense trusts him to say, hey, Mac, like, you don't have a true number one receiver, but we're going to let you attack this number one cornerback because we believe in you. But I mean, you got to have a better plan than that. You can't just be like, we're going to throw at this guy because we need to throw at him consistently. And, it's going to eventually work. No, it can't just eventually work. It's got to be a good game plan, in my opinion. So that's where the frustration for me comes.
Yeah. And, Light Shadows here says, I'm shocked about what I'm shocked about is how Bill Belichick wasn't playing KB with an anemic offense, as you would think you'd swallow his pride and let Bourne play. I hope Kendrick gets a regular rotation. Yeah. I mean, we've seen a lot about this whole KB situation. Apparently it's more of he's in Matt Patricia's doghouse, which is just, again, feels like Matt Patricia. I don't know. KB apparently was late to one meeting before the Panthers game, and then he benched him, and now he's getting punished for 3 weeks. Apparently, also, some other people have said that he's frustrated about his contract or the money situation. I don't know if he wants a raise because he played well last year. I don't know what it is, but either way, KB has had his frustrations this offseason with the plan, with money, whatever it is, and they're punishing him for it. And at the end of the day, Bill Belichick says he always is going to do what's best for the football team. And as you clearly saw from the one of the 2 plays KB was on the field, he makes an impact. And that having him sit on the sideline was not what was best for this football team. So I hope we see more of KB. I think he deserves an opportunity to play. He was probably our most explosive playmaker last season. And when he's on the field, I feel like we're a better football team. So I do want to see more of him. I hope he gets more opportunities because when he gets the ball in his hands, he can make some plays happen.
Yeah, I will be a little disappointed if all this commotion and doghouse stuff is the root of it is for money. I feel like Kendrick Bourne got a pretty dang good contract from New England, and not that he's getting underpaid because I think that he is because he's that good. But you said it last time, like Trent Brown, if he's mad about money or something, the best thing to do is bet on yourself and go play the game. Like Kendrick Bourne, go lead the team in reception yards again and get your money after the 3 years. Like you can still, you still got a ton of time in your career. Like don't ruin your career or your this year because you want more money. Like no, if you get traded, another team's not going to give you any more probably. So I would hate if that happens. I hope that's not the case. I kind of get the doghouse one. If he was late for a meeting, you kind of have to do that, but he served a 1 game thing, right? If it happens again, then I could see an extended punishment, but he got 2 plays in game 1. I'm pretty sure he learned his lesson. He had a 41-yard reception. Get him back on the field week 2. Get him going. The offense needs him. He needs to be out there making plays for this offense and Mac Jones. So I agree with you. I think that if we continue to see him getting less than 10 snaps, less than 5 snaps like he did, like it's going to be real concerning, and you'll wonder about the future with Kendrick Bourne in New England.
Yeah, I agree. Let's get into do you got anything else on this game, or do you want to hop into the picks? Okay.
Nope, I'm good.
What do we usually over-unders first, right?
Over-unders, yeah. Do you have the records from last week? Do you remember what we went or who we picked? Or?
Oh, from last week? No.
Yeah.
Nope.
Okay.
We'll have to check on it after.
Okay.
We'll add it to the total next week.
For sure. So we'll update you on that. But so before we get in, keep the questions coming, guys. And if you guys want to do our pick'ems with us right now, go ahead and do that. But we're gonna hop into the pick'ems, okay? And all these pick'ems right here are brought to you by Underdog Fantasy. So as you can see, we have a promo code with Underdog Fantasy. All you have to do is sign up on their website or using the app Underdog Fantasy. Use code PatchDrive, and you'll get your first deposit up to $100 matched. We use this for fantasy leagues, daily fantasy. You can also do pick'ems, which we're doing right now. If you follow us on Instagram, you'll see our full slate. But it's super fun, and it's legal in like 40 of the 50 states, maybe 41 of the 50 states. It's not like a normal sports book. Most likely, you're going to be able to play on Underdog Fantasy, and you can use our exact picks, or you compete against us with the picks that we upload on our Instagram. So again, that's underdogfantasy.com or the Underdog app on any app store. And that's code PATSDRIVE to get your first $100 deposited. But without further ado, let's get into our pick'ems. Mac Jones, a little disappointing last week, yardage wise, still had a 70% completion percentage. This week against a really good secondary and a team that just had 5 turnovers. They have him at 209 passing yards. Over or under for that, Cole?
I don't feel great about this one, but I'm going to go over. I'm gonna have some confidence that we're gonna bounce back a little bit. 209 yards is not very many. Mac had 213 last week against the Dolphins, so I hope he doesn't struggle more than he did last week. And this offense doesn't struggle more than it did last week. So hopefully they can get a few drives together and put some points on the board, and Mac can get over this total.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the over here. Also, I feel like we played as almost as bad as we could, and I think that Mac Jones in the offense is only going to get better. And obviously the back will play into effect here, so that will be something to monitor. But I think if he's full go, like I'm gonna give him the 209 yards. He didn't have many explosive plays last week, and he was still able to get 213 yards, like you mentioned. So I think if you give him more freedom, more opportunities to throw the ball downfield with his, usual 65 to 70% completion percentage, I think he's going to get 210 yards or more easily. So I'm going to go with the over also.
Yep, I agree.
Let's go to the flip side of this. The Steelers, Mitchell Trubisky, they have him at 218 and a half yards for this week.
I'm going to go under. I'm going to have confidence in our defense and their ability to stop this offense. It is a good offense, but they also have a good run game. And I think Najee Harris is probably going to touch the ball a good amount, but he also can do it in the passing game. So that's what's nerve-wracking about it. But I'm going to go under, even though it's a pretty low total. It's Mitch Trubisky. Hopefully we can put some pressure on him, create some turnovers, and dominate the time of possession and make this game shorter and pull out W.
Yeah, this one's tough too because they have a good receiving core. Like Deontay Johnson's really good. Chase Claypool's good. Pickens is good. Najee Harris can catch the ball in the backfield. Freiermuth, their tight end, is more than capable of getting, 40, 50 yards on any given day. So I'm going to have to go with the over on this one. But I think that this is going to come into play because I don't think they're going to have much success running the ball on us. I really don't. I think our defensive line and the struggles with their offensive line, I think that they're going to have to throw the ball. And I don't think this is a bad thing for New England because I think that we can hold up. Letting Mitchell Trubisky throw the ball 30 or 40 times, in my opinion, is not going to win them a game. He's not good enough to win them a game on his own. They're going to have a rushing game. So I'm actually going to go over on this one, but I think that's a good sign for the Patriots, which sounds super weird, but I'm going to go over that.
I'd rather have the ball in Trubisky's hands than Najee Harris.
Totally agree. So let's go to the running backs now. We're going with Ramondre this week, and they have him at 41 and a half rushing yards. Now, if Ramondre gets enough touches, I think this is an easy over. So I'm going to go with the over here because I think that New England's going to want to give him and Damien Harris more touches, especially with the back injury of Mac. But I think that this is super low for the way Ramondre runs the ball. He can get half of this, if not all of it, in one run. That's how explosive he is.
I'm going to go over, but I think it'll be close. I think it is a good line. He only had 25 rushing yards last week on 8 carries. So not great. And we know their defensive line is good and our offensive line has struggled. So I think it's probably going to be close to that 45, 47 yard range, maybe. But I think he should get more touches, and that's why I'm going to go over.
Yeah. So moving on, let's get Najee Harris in here. They have him at 55 and a half rushing yards. This is interesting because of the offensive line struggles and his injury. So what do you have this at, Cole?
This is a tough one. I'm going to go under. I'm trying to have some confidence in this team. I'm going to go under. His injury is a question mark. It's tough because he can make that up in one play too, just like Ramondre. He's such a talented back, and if he plays the whole game, it's going to be tough. But he obviously got injured last week, only had 23 yards rushing on 10 carries, but I am going to go under.
Yeah, I mean, I'm going with them having over 219 passing yards for Trubisky, and I think that that's a lot because I don't know what's it's going to be like health-wise and how much they're going to want to run Najee Harris after the injury and how much success they're going to have with that offensive line. So I'm going to go under here too. I agree with you on that one. I hope that they hold him under that because last thing you want to see, like you mentioned, having Najee go for 100 plus rushing yards, and now Trubisky doesn't feel like he has to force the ball downfield and, make a ton of plays, because that's where I think he makes mistakes. He's just one of those quarterbacks. So, Light Shadows, are you going to do film review videos, breakdowns of game day plays? I've thought of it. The thing is I had such a hard time with NFL Game Pass last year, and I don't know how much better NFL Plus is going to be. So once I get more, right? Once I get more experience with that and see if it's still glitchy and what the controls are, I'll consider it at least. But it would be something I'd be interested in doing, and releasing on maybe a Friday or Saturday before the game, and seeing what the keys of the game are. So that's something I definitely will keep in mind.
Yeah,
So
I think that's a great idea.
Let's go to the receivers now. Jacoby Myers, the leading receiver last week for the Patriots, and Mac Jones is right-hand man in that receiver room. 46.5 receiving yards.
I'm going to go over. Jacoby's his safety blanket, third down. I think we're probably being a lot of third downs with this Pittsburgh defense, and Jacoby hopefully gets a good amount of targets and keeps moving those chains. So I'm going to go over.
Yeah, I want him to go under because I want some other guys to have the explosiveness. Like I think Nelson Aguilar is an explosive receiver like that, but he's too reliable on third downs, on any down really, and he's Mac's favorite target. That I think that there's just a way that Jacoby's going to find a way to get over 47 yards. That's just the way he is, the way he plays the game, the way the Patriots use him. I'm going to go over too. I think that this is too low of a line for me. Even though it's not a ton of receiving yards for Jacoby Myers, I just feel like he can do this in his sleep. That's easy for him. So I'm gonna go over too. Last one here, Deontay Johnson, over under 54.5 receiving yards. He had right at 55 last week. So what are your thoughts on this one?
I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go under. I think they probably will do it. They got multiple different good receivers. Claypool can make an impact. George Pickens, I don't know how much he played last week, but they got Fryermuth and then Najee out of the backfield. So hopefully Jalen Mills is locked down CB1 and shuts down their number one receiver, Deontay Johnson, but he's a super talented receiver, so that won't be easy.
Yeah, I'll switch it up so we don't have the same picks. I'll go over on this one. I agree with you though. Jalen Mills hopefully is the one that's following him most of the night. And it'll be interesting to see who they put on a guy like Chase Claypool and George Pickens, because they're a little taller, longer receivers. So maybe that's where Jalen Mills goes.
Yep.
And maybe Deontay Johnson's, dealing with Jack Jones or one of those younger guys. This is a little
Jonathan
easier.
Jones.
Yeah, or John Jones, Jack Jones, one of those guys that
one of the Joneses.
Yeah, maybe Mac Jones. I don't know. So we'll see.
Okay, with the back injury, I don't know if that's a good idea.
Yeah, we'll see though. One of the Joneses will be out there covering him if Jalen Mills isn't. So we'll figure it out. But I'll go over to be different. It's kind of aligned with what I said. Trubisky going over to Deontay Johnson's the best receiver on their roster, and the one that's the most explosive. So I'll go with the over on this one.
And then Red Patriot says, when we start Taekwon, will Kendrick, Devontae, and Jacoby still be on the roster? I assume so.
Yeah, I hope so, man.
I assume so. There's somebody's not going to have many snaps, and I don't know that Taekwon's going to start immediately. I think they'll probably ease him in like they do with most rookies, but he certainly made an impact in training camp and opened some eyes. So hopefully he makes an immediate impact.
Yeah, if he can come in and make an immediate impact, that's huge. But I agree with you. If we're already seeing Kendrick Bourne get 2 snaps, and yeah, I know that's in the doghouse, it makes you wonder what the snap count's going to look like when all those receivers are back, because they do have a lot of money invested in Nelson Aguilar right now, enough that that's going to keep Bill from, getting the guys that deserve the reps in the future, the reps. But it'll be interesting to see how early they integrate him in, and how involved in the game plan he is as soon as he comes back. So, but let's get it. Cole has this segment now. So now we're going to be picking the game lines for games this week. So we usually do one in each hour slot, and then of course the Patriots one. So Cole, I'll kind of let you, run this segment.
Okay. So we'll do the Patriots first, or do.
Yep. Let's do the Patriots first.
So I also have the over under here, which that can be another over under that we do. Over under 40.5 points.
I think it's under this. knowing these two defenses, there's going to be a ton of yards and then a ton of field goals. And it's going to be like 17-14 or 20-17 or 21-14 or I don't know. I feel like this is a low scoring game where both the defenses are the headlines right now of the team, and there's questions on a lot of the offensive line at both spots. So I can see this being a defensive battle. And the Patriots only scored 7 points last week, so we'll see what they're like this week when they come out. And then obviously the health of Mac Jones will play a big role, and the health of Najee Harris. So a lot of question marks to a lot of big time players on the offensive side of the ball for both teams, and I just feel like the defense is going to step up for both teams. So I'm going to go under the 40 points.
I'm going to go under as well. And I don't know if you want to give a score prediction, but I'm going to go one of the ones that you had said, 20-17 is mine. So a little bit under that. A couple touchdowns and a field goal for the Steelers, and
Wow.
kind of same thing for the Pats.
You weren't going to say that till I said it, right?
Yeah. I just thought of that right after you said it. No, I'm going to go 2017 though, Pats. So I'm going to have them winning and covering the -2.
Okay, well, I'm going to go 17-10 Pats. Okay. Gives us 2 touchdowns, a field goal, and then, the Patriots defense where they did good in the red zone last week. They held the Dolphins to, I believe it was 0 for 2 in the touchdowns in the red zone. They got field goals out of both their trips there. So I'm going to go with 17-10 Patriots right here.
Alrighty.
So
Red Patriots said,
go ahead.
interesting game without Tom and Ben Roethlisberger, the first one since like 98, I think it was.
It will be weird.
So, all right. So that's good for Pat Steelers. We both got that. You have the Patriots covering and winning. I do as well. Next one, game going on right now. We made these picks beforehand, so has nothing to do with the current score. But Chargers at Chiefs. What do you got for this one?
Yeah, I had the Chargers. I really believe in Justin Herbert this year. I think I picked him as my MVP last year, and I still love him. And they don't have Keenan Allen today, so that's a big loss. But the defensive additions, Khalil Mack, J.C. Jackson, Kyle Van Noy, they added a defensive tackle. I'm blanking on who it is now. Joseph Day or something. Anyways, they added
Sebastian
a lot
Joseph
of
Day.
yeah. I think that's who they added.
Yep.
And then Derwin James just got paid. They have a lot of talent on that roster. And if you're looking at how to take advantage of a great quarterback on a rookie contract, you do exactly what the Los Angeles Chargers are doing because they went all in. And that is how it should be done with a quarterback that's probably going to demand 40, 45 plus $1 million in free agency. You're going to get other guys on the roster while he's making, on his rookie deal. So I love what the Chargers have done. I believe in Justin Herbert. I believe in Austin Eckler, Mike Williams, and that defense. And I think that the coach has enough cojones to go for it on 4th down and, take enough risks and let Justin Herbert be Justin Herbert. So I'm going with the Chargers covering this.
Winning and covering?
Or yeah, I'll go straight up win. I really do think that they're going to straight out win. So.
All right. I wish I had the same thing, especially with
you
the score right now.
You just hate picking against the Chiefs.
I do, because they always win. And if I pick the Chiefs and they win, then it's like, all right, whatever. At least I picked them. But if I pick the Chiefs, or if I don't pick the Chiefs and they win, then it's a double loss because the Chiefs won and I didn't pick them. So I'm just always going to pick the Chiefs. I picked the Chiefs to win. I did have the Chargers covering. I thought it was going to be a 3-point game, but I picked the Chiefs to win this one straight up, unfortunately. So
this could be 2 of the top AFC teams, and they're both in the same conference.
I'm a big fan of Herbert, like you are as well. And that Chargers defense is exciting. That offense is exciting. Keenan Allen, I've been a huge fan of his for a long time, just admiring his game and his route running ability. Ever since I've been playing fantasy football, I've had Keenan Allen on my team almost every year. This year I don't have him, but I got Mike Williams, and I tried to trade for Keenan earlier today, but the owner of that team was not having it. So big fan of the Chargers and Keenan. I like what they're doing over there, and this is what the Patriots should follow: surround Mac with talent and surround that defense with playmakers. It's just that's what we need, and we have some money this offseason, and hopefully that's what we see, because it would really help improve this team. And you've seen what it's done to the Chargers. Chargers went from an under 500 team a year or 2 ago to now they're Super Bowl contenders this year.
Yeah, and it's not just like, I don't want to say that it's just free agency, because they have done a ton of great things in free agency, but they've done a great job in the draft too. I mean, you go look at
Derwin
Rashawn
James, Joey
Slater.
Bosa,
Yeah, all the
Slater,
guys.
Herbert,
Yes, they are all
Eckler.
homegrown talent. Yes, Eckler, Kenneth Murray, who they got the pick from the Patriots, Jerry Tillery, like Derwin James, like you mentioned. This year they got Rashawn Slater, then they get Zion Johnson. They surround Herbert with enough protection to, not get him killed. I've loved what they've done both free agency wise and in the draft, and I feel like they haven't really missed on a lot of things. So I agree with Light Shadows here. I hope he's listening, but I definitely don't think he is. So
Belichick is definitely one of the viewers here on tonight's stream. He's
yes,
changing his philosophy just for us. All right, moving on to the next game. This one will be a good one. Cardinals at Raiders. Raiders are favored by 5.5. What do you got?
I'm going to go with the Cardinals covering this, but the Raiders still winning. I feel like 5.5 primetime Sunday night football is a lot. Kyler Murray is
425.
425. Sorry.
Yep.
Kyler Murray is a lot to handle. And I think that
he was a lot for the Chiefs last week.
He was, and they got destroyed. And I don't think that the Raiders have as great of an offense as the Chiefs do. And I don't believe in the Cardinals to be a true contender, but I think they will always have a very competitive team with Kyler Murray behind the quarterback, and he's always tough. And quite frankly, I wasn't super impressed with the Raiders last week. I think that they showed that they can be great, and obviously with Devontae Adams, they can be great, but they rarely got Hunter Renfrow involved and Waller. I wasn't super impressed with Derek Carr. I think there's a lot of work to be done there on Josh McDaniels' part and with the offense. So I think this is going to be a pretty close game. So I'm going to go with the Raiders winning, but the Cardinals covering that 5.5 point spread.
I'm going to go with the Raiders winning and covering. I'm going to have faith in Josh McDaniels here to pull this one off. Cardinals didn't look good. Raiders didn't look good. Usually you'd think that means a close game, but I don't know. I got faith in the Raiders to kind of get things figured out over this game here against the Cardinals, and it's at home for them. So I like the Raiders in this one. We're not done yet, but Light Shadows, everybody watching right now, hit that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already. Helps out the channel, and it helps us continue to put these videos out for you guys. And we appreciate you guys sticking around watching this and leaving your comments on score predictions and all that stuff. So no wheels are falling off here. We got like Michelin tires or whatever that last for thousands and thousands of miles.
Our wheels won't fall off, but the Patriots' wheels might fall off. But we'll see. And we'll be here to cover everything. So
Sunday Night Football, Bears at Packers. Packers minus 9.5.
Yeah, that's a crazy spread, bro. For Sunday Night Football, the rivalry they have and how bad the Packers looked, the receiving core looked on week 1. I don't believe the Bears are going to win. I think that they, took advantage of a really, really shitty condition game at home, and they just happened to, play a little bit better than the Niners. But I'm going to go with the Bears covering 9.5 points, but I'm going to go with the Packers winning. It's kind of the same thing on the side of the Cardinals game.
I got the same exact thing. I got the Bears covering and Packers winning.
And the crazy thing is 9.5 points does not seem like a lot, but that is a lot in the NFL.
It's a big spread. You don't see many spreads bigger than that. Like the only spreads I've seen bigger than that is like the Chiefs when they play the Jaguars or like stuff like that.
I think the Bills had like a 16-point spread against the Texans like one of the last weeks last year, and I think we both picked it. And I think that I don't even know if they covered, but it's still like was pretty dang close to being. Even if they did cover, it was still close. But yeah. So you don't see many Georgia, Alabama blowouts in college football every week in the NFL. Like that's type of blowout does not really happen a lot. So
I think you'll be surprised by this next spread. Titans at Bills. Bills minus 10.
I hate the Buffalo Bills, but I'm gonna go with them covering. I just don't think that Tannehill can keep up with that Bills offense, and their defense is almost, I don't want to say just as good, but their defense is up there. Like they are good. And I hate to say that about the Bills, but Tre'Davious White, Michael Poyer. I mean, now they have Von Miller, the Milano and Edmonds in the middle. Like this is a dang good team. And I hate to say it with them being in the Patriots division, but I don't think the Titans have the firepower without A.J. Brown either anymore, and I really don't think that Tannehill he really couldn't do it with A.J. Brown, and I really don't know if he can do it without him. So I'm actually gonna go with the Bills covering this one.
Yeah.
That's just say it. I know you want to.
Yeah. I don't want to. I really don't want
So
to.
Cole's not going to say it, but he's going to agree with me. Okay. All right. I guess we're moving on.
All right. Monday Night Football Part 2. Vikings at Eagles. What do you got for this one?
This is a good game. I like both teams
I'm
here.
excited for this game.
The Vikings showed me a lot. Like, I think Kirk Cousins is a very, very good quarterback. He's not great. He's not special. He's a good quarterback. Justin Jefferson's an elite receiver. He's top 2, and maybe he's not even number 2. Like, he might be that guy. He is that good. And then you got Dalvin Cook, who on any given day can make plays and stuff. So this is a tough one for me because I do like Jalen Hurts. A.J. Brown ate him up last week. So this is really just picking the outright winner because, I mean, unless they go to overtime and somehow, or, it's a 1-point game, someone has to go for 2. Anyways, this is a tough game for me to pick, but I'm going to have faith in the Vikings. I'm going to say that they go on the road and do it. Justin Jefferson is that dude. And I don't know if the Eagles have anyone that can defend him. So I'm going to go with the Vikings.
I thought you were going to say the Eagles. I thought I was going to be the different one with taking the Vikings. I'm going to take the Vikings too.
This is like a 51-49 toss up for me. I gave the Eagles the advantage. I really do think this will be maybe the game of the week. It's going to be a fun game to watch.
Light Shadows has the Eagles winning Swan, but it's in Philadelphia, so a minus usually get 3 points at home, so they're favoring the Vikings kind of by 1, you could almost say. But this is going to be a really good game. I am excited for this. This is definitely going to be a much better game to watch than the Titans Bills.
Yes.
So, which is odd. Vikings Eagles doesn't sound exciting, but with AJ Brown added to that Eagles team and Jalen Hurts playing better, you got Devontae Smith, you got Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen, Dalvin Cook. There's some exciting players to watch this game. So I think that's going to be a good one, but that's going to wrap it up for our game picks. That's about all we got. Do you got anything else?
We got one more thing to say or one more thing to do before we wrap it up. Hot takes. Do you remember if you hit on any last week?
I had Jack Jones getting an interception.
Oh,
almost got it.
You jinxed
almost got it. He did not end up getting it though. And then I think I had
did you say Jonnu Smith masterclass? You agreed with someone on that one, didn't you?
Oh, somebody had Jonnu with like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns or something.
I think I said 2.5 sacks or something, and I think the Patriots got 2, Dietrich Wise and Judon. So I don't know if that's considered a win, but close. This week, I'm gonna go with Kendrick Bourne plays more than 2 snaps.
That is a hot take.
Just kidding. Let's go with. I like the Jonnu Smith one, but I feel like we've been saying that forever. Like I feel like we've been saying Jonnu Smith masterclass forever. So maybe if we need to stop saying it, yeah, that's my thing. I'm gonna go with Damian Harris, Ramondre Stevenson combined for. I can't really say that with my score prediction, but combined for 150 rushing yards. I did have Damian Harris going, or I had Ramondre going over. I'm going to say they combined for 150.
I don't know how hot of a take this is. I'd say it's hot with the current situation. I'm going to say KB has 5 or more catches with 65 plus yards.
I like it.
And then I'm also going to say Judon has 2.5 sacks himself.
Okay. I like it. Let me go with a defensive one. You're going sacks. I'm going to go with, let's be super specific here. Let's go Christian Barmore, scoop and score touchdown off of a Matt Judon sack. You got the sack. Christian Barmore is going to scoop and score that, baby.
Wow. If that happens.
Yeah. Light Shadows
going to be knocking at your door if that happens.
Yeah. Light Shadow says hot water take. Pats give up 3 sacks. We're supposed to be helping the Patriots here. We're not supposed to be bagging on them. But
I want to boil myself in hot water after.
A hot take would be
right
the Patriots give up 0 sacks.
Patriots win by 400 points.
That's scorching hot, like hot as the Sahara Desert. That's a hot take. So
I like that.
Yeah. So anything else, drop them in the comments if you got another one. But I think that's pretty much going to wrap up the show. I don't got anything else unless you do.
That's all I got. That's all I got. Hopefully Patriots put a better product on the field for us this weekend. It's a great opportunity for them to get a win, and you got to bounce back. It's not great to start off 0-2, and then you got Ravens, Packers up next.
Yep.
That's no easy task right there. So it's going to be a fun game. It's going to be a fun game to watch. I think it's going to be ugly. I think it's going to be gritty. I think it's going to be physical, and we'll see. Hopefully the Patriots come out on top and set their record to 500 and can start to build some momentum and turn the ship around, because we've had enough negativity throughout this offseason and questions about play calling and KB and drama and this and that. And I just want to see the Patriots go out there and win. And I just want to see these guys smiles on their faces, have some confidence in what they're doing, and believe in have faith in the play calling and the coaching staff, and feel like they have a plan and feel good about it. So hope you guys enjoy your night watching the Chargers Chiefs game. Go Chargers. If any of you are rooting for the Chiefs, then unsubscribe and never come back. So that's all I got to say. You got anything, Jace?
Yeah, no, just like, subscribe. Make sure you guys share this with your friends. We will be on Sunday night after the game. Like Shadow said, late night show. It's probably going to be around. We try to get it done before the Sunday night football game starts. Maybe bleed into that game 15 minutes. So 7:30 Eastern time, and we'll probably be on 40-45 minutes depending on how good or bad the game is. But we'd love to have all you guys in there. But like, subscribe, share this video with all your friends, and hopefully we're discussing a Pats win on Sunday night. So
thanks for listening to this edition of the Patriots Drive podcast. Follow us on social media to stay up to date with all things New England Patriots. Make sure you tune in to the next episode and check out patriotsdrive.com for more great content.
We're on to Cincinnati.